Hello everybody, this is the author of NovaCraft here. I usually people just call me Welljack. That's pretty strict good enough, or Pickles Cage, whichever one you prefer, depending on what media site I'm on. So I wanted to go over maybe a bit more obscure issues with the mod. Uh, Issues people are having figuring out how to do certain things, especially how to obtain certain items, and what is the mod about and everything. I think some people are just not quite sure what it's about. I think it's go over a slight review here. So first off, NovaCraft was started back in 2021, I believe. It was not called this. It was created Creator. It was called Cave and Cliff Fundamentals. For 1.7.10, that was the original version of the mod here. Creator is unfortunately very buggy and very limiting in what you can do in 1.7. I must say, and I would definitely not suggest you use it if you don't have to. And eventually, I came to the conclusion that I simply can't do what I want to do with the mod in that code base, basically. So I had to rewrite the entire mod from scratch, and which wasn't actually as bad as you might think, because there wasn't as much stuff in it. It is now, especially. And I renamed it to NovaCraft, and have been working on it since 2022-ish for this version of the mod, which is a far more polished and much less buggy version. I originally came to the idea to make this mod from the Netherlicious author, who is my inspiration for even attempting modding in the first place. But I must thank them. I must thank Delirious, I think her name is. I must thank her for inspiring me to make this mod. I've had a lot of fun making it. Probably the most fun played Minecraft in years. And let's get started on the review here, I think. We should jump into that. So the goal of the mod here is to basically expand on vanilla in every way possible, basically. I want to make it a bit more challenging for experienced players and more rewarding, more interesting to explore. Exploration is a big part of the mod, but I didn't want to make the mod very gated like a lot of other mods are. I know if you don't have this certain item, you can't do anything in the mod whatsoever, or you won't see anything from that mod until you do this or that. This mod's a bit of a slow burner, I would say, for most people. There's a lot of features in the mod that are not really intertwined from what you could see. If you're first starting a mod, you're not sure what to do, you can go in the achievements here, and it tells you has a different progression of what you can do in the mod. There are a ton of achievements spanning all three dimensions. I really should probably separate them by dimensions in a certain tab, but haven't got around to doing that yet, but whatever. So first off, this is not released. Some stuff will not be done yet, will not be released to the public, but it will be in version 1.5 once that comes out. The latest version I'm recording is version 1.4.3, and that version added the infested bastions. That's the big part of that little update and some server fixes and such. So if you're looking around me right now, you might see some interesting looking terrain. It's a bit more hilly and definitely a lot more interesting looking. A bit more of that beta 1.7.3 feel, maybe that 1.18 release feel to it a little bit. So in 1.5, I'm going to have it so the terrain's basically pulled up. I talked about this in the last video. Well, I didn't talk about it, but I showed off and didn't have any commentary behind it. And I just wanted to make the world a bit more interesting to explore, basically. 1.7 is a big step up from 1.8 beta to 1.6.4 strain, but it still doesn't have enough vertical little height variation that the beta versions and stuff had, which I really think was a big shame. And as such, I'm going to be working on it to make it a lot more interesting to explore. You can also, if you don't like this, of course, you can turn off in the config, and it only works with vanilla biomes. I know people when they're highlands, extra biomes will plenty debate which one's the best to play with. There's realistic world gen and stuff. I don't care about that. I like this vanilla world gen, honestly. The oceans could do some work, though. Maybe I should work on that at some point, but that's the only thing I like from Biomes of Plenty, really, is the ocean stuff. But let's get started here. So the big difference, other than that, you're going to notice here is likely going to be the ore distribution and the world and the caves in the mod. So this is kind of an ore distribution. It's a bit more, it's much more, they're not going to be this common in ore generation, of course, but this is kind of showing you where stuff generates. So if you get Future installed, you get Deep Slate Layer, and we got these two ores. We got, well, these stones called Nullstone and Grimstone. I preferred Grimstone as a name over Deep Slate, truly, but, you know, whatever. Did what you did. And you can find various ores, none of the standard vanilla ores like gold and iron and stuff in them. But you can also find other things in them. There's a couple ores in the mod to get to here. And this here is called Vanite. This is basically the iron of the mod, basically. It only generates within Vanite or in Grimstone or Nullstone. And basically you're not going to be able to mine it without, you need a diamond pickaxe at least, so at that level to mine it. Fortune works pretty well on it as well. It only generates within those two stones. If you don't have these enabled, it generates in Deep Slate or Stone, depending on what you want in the config. And so the ore distribution has been changed. All the ores generally, other than diamonds and coal, are the same. Lapis might be a little bit more common than originally I planned. It might be a little bit less. Diamond's the big one you probably noticed. A lot of people have been talking to me at least, about the diamond rate being too low. That's a bug from 1.4 introduced. That'll be fixed pretty soon. I did up them in 1.4.3, but I finalized fixed them basically in this version 1.5 to be fixed. So we got diamonds generate in veins of 1 to 4 instead of 1 to 8. And they generate from 16 and below. So a little bit further down. I think in vanilla it's 22 is the highest you can generate. But 18 is the highest you can generate. And they generally tend to be in 1 to 4 in a vein. Redstone generates similar levels, normal, maybe a little bit lower. I moved it. Iron, I think, is actually a little more common, and gold's a bit more common too. Maybe gold. Well, gold's probably similar, I think. I don't remember it being too different. Lapis might be a little bit rare, a little bit more common, depending on what you're going for. But coal's a big one. Below Y24, it does not generate anymore. Coal, you can't find it. It might be a little bit. Oh, it might be 32. I forgot which one it was. But you can't find it there. But coal is more common in generation, so you can find a lot of coal higher up. Get big veins and everything. And irons, I think, increase that. So first off, the first ore you might come across in the mod, because every mod has an ore in it, and that'll be brimstone. This is a pretty simple ore. It's basically like how to craft gunpowder without a little bit more early game. So you want gunpowder, this is what you use. You can craft it. It's found from layer about 35 up to about 90. It generates there. You can find it in small. It's about a variety of lapis or so. You can grab it here. And I like brimstone. It's pretty cool. So some things in the mod I don't have it like explicitly said other than in change logs, but something I know people don't realize is you can place the power down like redstone, like this. If we go in the cave here, we can pretty much make little mines. Let's avoid the gravel. So you can place it down like this. Then you can light it with some redstone signal. I don't want to leverage you doing that. It's weird. And you can clear out a small area like this which is cool. Or you can use it to make gunpowder if you want. Or you can use it to make this. The block. Doesn't really matter. Whichever one you prefer. Brimstone does not have a ton of uses, but that's the main one. Pretty neat. Another one, it's kind of like an ore, but not really. It doesn't generate like an ore. It generates within caves and underground. You can find anywhere from the deep slate layers up to stone, up pretty high, about level 40-ish. It's called Promethium. This stuff here is basically, if you're early game, you want this stuff. This stuff's pretty useful. It drops Promethean fragments, or shards, or whatever. And in terms of efficiency in the mod, this has the highest efficiency, this tool here, other than, I think, Crystallite, which is the last I haven't worked on it too much late game stuff. But you get this stuff, you make the ingots and, you know, make the set. The full set here is pretty cool because it gives you haste 4 if you equip the whole set, which is an achievement. It's pretty hard. It's actually real annoying to get this stuff, so it's not. You have to search caves, a lot of caves, and get these. Fortune works on it. I suggest you look for this stuff if you can. The pickaxe is amazing, but it can't mine obsidian or anything. It's just kind of over a building tool kind of thing. And this is the metal, the main ore the mod. It's Vanite. This is metal. So Vanite here, these kind of particles around it, you can see it. It's actually a mistake. I added this. I didn't mean to do this, but you know, I liked it, so it kept it looked cool. And you get Vanite chunks. You might need a diamond to mine it. And with those Vanite chunks, you can make lots of different things. So Vanite is very important in the mod. There's a ton of things to do with it. Very important. So you get Vanite ingots. You can make building blocks out of it. You can make blocks, glass, buckets, torches, and you get the crowns, of course, cauldron, and the big thing is going to like reinforced Vanite ingots, which kind of gets into the mid game stuff. So this is kind of like concentrations of a lot of stuff due to the void in this mod, because it's kind of the goal of the mod is eventually, we want to defeat this mod right now is to beat the prisoner. I have plans after. I haven't finished them yet though. Add them. Lever's looking there. So you want Vanite here. It's kind of like very ancient, basically Vanite is a metal. It's very strong. It can't melt. The melting is very extremely difficult going through the Nether. And this is the main metal of the mod. But I'm not too sure. I forgot what was the lore I had behind it. I don't know right now. But we'll get to that at some point. So here's the next one you might come across in the Nether. This is Tophanite. You generate with a netherrack, but I changed it. So it generates in basalt here. I add this little stones. I didn't feel like doing the whole config and blackstone stuff. So this generates in the Nethers and like clumps. Make blocks, the building blocks out of it if you want. A few other things here. And this stuff's basically like an upgrade to netherite. If you have netherite enabled, or upgrade the diamonds. There are basically 3 paths we can get to later. What you can do is not just one set of basic progression, it's 3 paths I've been working on. But this is pretty useful because basically a little increase in netherite, protection stuff, abilities, and it works better than nether. So this is pretty cool to get if you can. Tophanite has other uses, of course. So here's Tophanite. Make tools and armor. But you can also make this, which is important. Phoenix Razor. And it's also used to make all the building blocks if you want to make it. The building blocks you can place, but you can never reattain them. So wherever you place them is where they're going to stay, basically. It's also used to make the advanced enchantment table. You know, the crowns, of course. So the next one is Calagonite. This one's around the end. This was very rare. I think it's too rare. I'm not sure if I fixed it version 1.4.3, but I might have. It's extremely rare. Found the end. You found an end stone. It's a bit further down the end, which I think I'm gonna make it a bit more kind of make it more vertical randomly where they're gonna be. And Frontier Slate. Frontier Slate's basically referencing like the boundary of the end and the void. That's why it's called that, because the frontier, the boundary. That's why I called it that. This is kind of like the diamonds of the mod, I would say. This is how you make the good armor. So you get all this. These are really good armor. If you have this and you have Zanite pellets, you can do this. It fires projectile. It's pretty cool. The tools here have built-in fortune on it. So if you have fortune and your tools, It stacks, so it has a built-in fortune with it. It's pretty cool on the different ores. And the full set here has like an ore around it, which attacks various hostile entities. Next one is Xanthium. This one's another ore on the end. It's a bit more. It's definitely more common than this one. It's a pink ore. It's used to make explosives again, kind of like a combo, another version of brimstone in a way. It's used in the process of making Calgonite. You need it for it. There's also other kind of tools you can use to make these things. These fire charges you need to make them. If you want to make those fire charges, you're going to need this stuff to make this one. This one's really cool. I like these little things of fire charge launchers. You can kind of launch these things at different entities and such. You can use your mine if you want to. The cabinet went a little overpowered. Difficult to craft though. So that's one of the uses of that. Also make Xanthium TNT, which is basically nukes, basically a nuke. Pretty powerful things. And finally, this is not really an ore either. This is kind of generalized like one. It's called a crystallized end. It might actually be called an ore at some point. I'm not sure yet. But this generates an frontier slate in the end. This stuff is needed if you want to get the fragmented end shards. Crystallized end shards here to make this stuff. This is certain tools and other things. Static essence you need this for. So there'll be more uses for in the future. I just haven't got around to it yet. So those are the main kind of components of the mod. In the ore distribution, I should mention also gravel does not generate a lot for 32. I don't want to have a bunch of different stored in this kind of clutter underground stone types. I think that's good enough. In high elevations, though, again, coal and iron now start to generate again, and it's a little more common than lower levels above 90. And if you should be able at calcite can generate up there too, like at 1.18, up to about 120. Then you get going to be ether stone here. Pretty cool stuff. This one doesn't have as many cool, interesting uses. This stuff's about a building block. This cool thing to find up higher. And you can also find gold and emeralds up higher up too. This is a bit rarer than lower levels down. Alright, so next I want to show off this thing. This is basically called this company 1.5 coming up here. The deep void furnace. I want to give a lot of stuff in the mod. I know people don't like bloat. I'm trying to give everything a use that I added initially and everything like that. And I gave it this a big use here. So basically, you're going to get this thing called a deep void furnace. You can craft it. It's about mid-game. So you're going to need this capture. I can't pronounce these damn things. I don't know why I choose these names. But craft like so. Deep void bricks. Going to be crafted with deep void scales, which are found in the deep void fortresses in the Nether. And you craft this. So basically, this is a faster furnace. So here's the GUI here. We can place some ores in here, and it's going to be a lot faster, but it does consume your fuel about twice as fast, if not three. I think maybe 3 times. But it's 4 times faster than smelting things, though. You have to build this multi-block structure for it. In the center here, you're going to have this block place, and the recipes will be in GUI, which I'm not going to explain further. Basically, faster furnace, something cool I liked. I got other plans. I don't like GUIs too much, but if it's based off of a vanilla GUI, I don't really mind it. Next is these luminant trees. You'll probably find these in any forest. You'll find it in any forest biome. They generate like this, various heights, and you get these. Got luminant logs, and so you can use it for basic stuff. But the big thing is if you let the leaves decay, you get the luminant tree sap, which can be smelted into this, and you get this. Craft this. This requires a gel and a gold ingot. These I'm going to get to in a second, how to get the flint and pitcher petals. This is how you get the luminant gel and such. Little particles here too. Based off the name, it also glows a little bit, the tree. So down here, there's a lot of farming and stuff in the mod. I've been testing out with changing the brightness of the game to see if it looks. I don't know yet about it. I basically locked the brightness at negative 25% to what it is. It's probably disabled by default, but just something I kind of thought was cool to implement, so I did. So another thing is you got salt tentacles and nullworts. So salt tentacles are found underground. If you want to, you need to grow these to do certain rituals and stuff in the mod and crafting recipes. It has to be wide 25 or lower and in complete darkness. They grow out of salt blocks like so. In all directions, you need silk touch to obtain them, and they grow kind of from this state to this one here. It grows very slow in the overworld, but if you grow them in the end, it's much faster. Same with Nowhere. Nowhere though doesn't care about the Y height. Where you grow, it needs to be in complete darkness, and it grows on nullstone. This stuff can be used to craft bricks and other. It's used in potions and basically extended potions and such in the mod. These are found in a few dungeons in the Nether. And, also, Vindicator Settlement Trading, you can get these from them as well. But what the hell? Okay, that was weird. Well, so that's that. So yeah, you can see the brightness is much darker than it normally is. I'm not sure about it. I'll let you guys think about it. I like this a little bit darker, but I don't know. So next I wanted to head off to the Nether here and show off a few things. The Overworld has the most content, but the Nether is another one. Big stuff in it. If anything, I might keep it dark as just the Nether. I mean, it's definitely look more like a beta Nether. Enlightenment, the dark brightness. So, first off here, we got these Vanite Cauldrons. So people have been asking me, because people don't like reading change logs and stuff, how do I get like molten blazonite and molten and these the Vanite crystals here, crystallized Vanite and such? How do I get that? Well, to get Vanite crystals here, you need to make a Vanite Cauldron. So I'm going to show you what you do. You need to make blazonite first. You need to get some deep fire blends. Craft it pretty straightforward. This is going to be changed in the update. How you craft it. Yep, you right click it, and then if you do this overworld, this place is fire. But you have to do this in the Nether. So you have this, right? Get your cauldron. And place it above it. Well, we're making blazonite, that's right. So we're making get this. Place blazonite, block of blazonite here. Then you're going to surround it with deep fire. And give it some time, and it will melt like this. Then you can pick it up with a Vanite bucket. You have to use a Vanite bucket. One way to pick it up. And you get this. Next here is we need to make Vanite crystals, and I'm going to show you how to do that here. So Vanite crystals here, you can break, but be careful. So first off, you need to place one of these down here. Next, you're going to get your Vanite Cauldron out. Your Vanite Cauldron will just have craft recipe has the block here, you need reinforced Vanite. And you get this here, you can place, you can take 4 buckets of blazonite, molten blazonite around it. It will break the bucket when you place it, and you're just going to let it sit there. So you have to have the deep fire underneath first of all. You place it like so, and you're going to get a cauldron of molten blazing as you saw before. It will take a second for it to melt. So there we go. So now that you have this, you're ready to go. You need to craft this. And now let's show you. I'm going to right click this, and it's going to do this. You're just going to leave it there, and it will eventually break. And you're going to get the crystal. Let's see if it does have opposite. You can talk about other stuff. So first off, let's talk about those flaming pitcher petals from before. So the Palladium pitcher petals here look like this. They generate on lava in the Nether. So go look on Y30-ish in the Nether, and those lava lakes you might see these guys on top. This is fire. These won't burn in lava, so you can just kind of leave them in there. Doesn't matter. Now, you can't break them till they're fully grown, and they're only fully grown when they have a. You'll see this little part on top of it. Basically, you'll see this blue part. And if you want to place them, you have to kind of place it on a block like this. You can't place it directly; that doesn't work for some reason. So when you have a block, you can place it like that. And that's how you get these petals. And I don't remember if they only grow in the Nether or not. Don't remember. So next is Phoenix feathers, which lots of mobs in the mob. I'm not going to talk about the mobs here really too much. This is a Phoenix. They are passive. They're in the Nether. You can't breed them, so I don't know how to breed them properly. But they drop Phoenix feathers here, which are used to craft the superheated snowballs. Magma cream. Oops. So if you don't want to kill them, you want to capture them with something. I don't know, move them somehow. You can, but you can kill them for the stuff if you're traveling, or you can just right-click them with a Phoenix, and you'll get an achievement. You get feathers. It will damage the Phoenix when you do this though, and you can only do it after a certain. You can't do it like infinitely. You can only do it every so many ticks, like shooting roll, and you get something like that. And this is how you craft this here. So that's the basic Nether stuff here. Let's see if that worked yet. No, it has not finished yet. Well, oh, there we go. Alright, so now we have the Vanite cluster here. You're just going to mine this with a diamond level pickaxe, like so. Mine that. Breaks the thing, and you get some Vanite crystals like so. Then you take that, you're going to do a further kind of thing here, get some other this and craft this, and you can use to make the armor and other stuff. You also can use this is also needed for the potions. You need the blend, the double warp blend, you can make the potions. So that's how you get the crystallized Vanite. Next I want to show off the two structures in Nether right now. This is the Deep Void Fortress. This one's, I think I added 1.2. Basically another fortress, but, you know, purple. Lots of important things here. You can find incinerators, ion azators here. These are basically buffed up blazes. That's creepy. That bypass fire resistance. I talked about it in a previous video. Well, kind of showed it off. I didn't go too deep into it, but these are another big thing to mod. A lot of the stuff like that, the deep voids is where you find deep voids in this place called Deep Void Fortress. They tend to generate near nether fortresses and a bit further down though in the kind of further lower Y levels. There's a loot here and our stuff, but I'm not going to go into detail on that right here. So I don't feel like it. I did it already. Now we'll know a different video for that. So next, we can look at the infested bastions. Gonna teleport to that. So here's an infested bastion. They generate pretty similarly to the nether fortresses. Basically, instead of gold and piglins, you got Vanite and different types of serpents. It's not peaceful, so there's nothing right here right now, but I'm not going to explore it too much, but there's a lot of different stuff, different loot tables and such. I'll let you guys do that for yourselves. If you want Vanite, this does a pretty good source of it, these salt scraps. If you randomly break this, you can get Vanite from that. Chance we'll get some. If you're in need of Vanite. So that's that. I'll probably add more stuff here at some point, but not right now. that's kind of it for the Nether right now. I'm not going to go into more detail. I'll let you guys discover other mobs and other things encountered here. Go to the overworld. Alright, so we're going to head over to the other place here, talk about some of the equipment and such in the mod. Where's my thing? Here we go. So I did a lot of testing here in the ancient city. I've seen this before, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. But a lot of the mod here talk about the equipment. So the tooltip's going to help you. I suggest you try to get one of these crowns. These crowns are pretty nice if you have them early game. Any of the early types you increase speed. Go to the end, you get some of the other ones. This one's pretty good. If you got an Aether Shard, pretty nice. I like this is good. This is a good tool for mining. This is for the Nether. All the different types of equipment. You got different bows. Usually kind of like ranged weapons. You can fire off these projectiles like this. Which have an area effect. The Salk boots. If you wear these, you should stop things. If you like, oh, whoops. So if you walk on Salk blocks, they stop things from spawning if you have those on without sneaking. I haven't done much of the Phantom membranes yet, but I might change them up soon. And let's see, so basically there's 3 paths to the equipment. So we have an overworlds, a nether, and an end path. They're going to be similar in terms of the end set will be same toughness and enchantability and protection uses and such. Not uses, but protection. But there's different tiers of it. I haven't implemented them all yet, but lots of work has to be done still. So I basically want you can choose for more. You want one side more combat. Nether is more combat oriented and kind of power. Well, the overworld is more of a general use, kind of all rounder. While the end is more kind of magical abilities and such and weird things you can do with it. All of them start at the base of diamond or netherite. Then you have either tophanite here, or you need calgonite here. Calgonite is also needed to craft this set, but you don't need the calgonite ingots, which are pretty difficult to make. And you keep moving on up, up, and up. I haven't finished adding them all yet, but this one's probably the best one right now. This one or this one. This is Orphinium. You have to beat the deep one to get this. And you beat the warden here, which is harder than this. This is better than that armor. So each level, though, is not exactly the same. Like, Tophanite is definitely not as good as Calgonite. And the warden set is definitely much better than like this, like Orphinium and such like that, and this set here. So basically, each level is not the same, but the final one will be the same in terms of protection and such. Next, I want to go over is Enchanting. I never really liked the 1.8 Enchanting system. I don't like how it takes only 3 levels for. Really takes away from me that whole accomplishment that you spent those 3 levels and you got something good. Instead you're just kind of like grinding to get 50 levels and you have like all the enchantments you ever need. So I added these other 2 enchantment tables. These I do not plan to ever add Futrum stuff to it, like they'll have their own like lapis equivalent or anything, or drain only 10 levels. I'm not doing that. So this one is the advanced enchantment table. If you don't have the proper bookshelves, you won't be able to access it, as you can see. You craft the null word bookshelves, and you can place them around it. If you place these around other bookshelves like this, it gives you enchanting power too. It's a bit higher. You want to do that instead. You gotta craft them like so. And basically, you get a level 50 enchantment. It drains 50 levels. You get it's a random chance what you get. You can get some higher level kind of enchantments that you normally can get, but it always guarantees a level 3, I believe, on this one, or 4 on certain items. So if I do this, it guarantees you get something there. That's pretty good. That's really, look, Unbreaking 4. That's pretty random. It's random you can get. It's pretty cool. So look at that. So 50 levels to do that. This one you get after being the Warden. It's called a Legendary Enchanting. This is 90 levels. And you get some pretty insane enchantments, as you can see. Sharpness 4, Unbreaking 6. That's pretty crazy. So this is something else to look forward to if you're in the mod. You need these bookshelves to make it activate. I would like to make it so this requires 50 levels again, but I just don't know how to do that yet. So I suggest you try to get that as quickly as possible. This one's not hard to make in terms of the other ones. Bit of mining, nether mining here, and that's really it. This one's dropped by Sulk Dweller. It's not hard to understand. So that's a lot of the stuff here I wanted to discuss. There's nothing really else in the ancient city I'm not going to talk about right now. So let's hit off the end and discuss some stuff you have issues with. So in the end here, I got stuff I want to show you. It's kind of dark. So people are asking me, how in the world do I obtain null shards? These are definitely a little bit more obscure, how to make them. So first off, you're going to need the Sulk Endstone. Basically, you need to Silk Touch any of the Sulk stones. So just grab a Deep Slate, null some pickaxe, Silk Touch, bring it over here, and make sure config options enabled, and it will spread to Endstone. And you can place it down like so, in kind of a circle like this. You need all the other crystals on the mod to do this. So this is what it looks like when it's done. Another thing people don't know what this stuff used for. So if I take this, infuse, and I right click it on this, it will repair it back to the cracked version, to the regular version. And it works for all these shards, but I don't really care about that so much right now. I know what these do. So first off, let's grab these. Bit of rambling in this video, but that's okay. Just kind of a quick thing to show you what to do. I'll get to how you get echo, where echo shards are found. So you need the budding version of all these. You can craft these, of course. They're going to craft recipe. Now you have all those. What you're going to do is you can do this. Place those around. The orange one's in the it's direction oriented, so it's in the plus direction. So plus X plus Z direction. You place this one and you place the others accordingly. You can place these clusters down. You let it grow, or you just place them. Silk touch. And now that you have that in the middle here, you're going to get a block of echo. It has to be the block, not the budding version. Place that here. And you're going to place an echo cluster on top. It might take a second, but this is how you're going to obtain these items here. Oh yeah, you also need the, that's why it's not working. So remember what I said about the tentacles from earlier? Get some grown ones, some mature ones, you can place them open around this thing, like so. Then you place it in the middle. Well, it should work eventually, so we'll let it sit for a second. And that's how you can get the null shards. Get rid of this stuff. Then I'm going to get into how you get the, what is it called? Dark Essence. That's another thing we need to show how to do. I'm going to get Dark Essence here. Yeah, it's random when it's going to activate. It might take a second. It might take, just random. So over here, we need to get Dark Essence. So we're going to place Nullstone like so. Keep a Nullstone ring around it. We're going to place all of them here with no warts. They don't have to be fully ground to place them here. Here, it doesn't really matter. I think you need nullstone bricks here. It has to be nullstone bricks. You can get frontier straight bricks. Now you can place them like so. That was a mistake. Then you can get some crystallized, these kind of mixed shards here. It takes all the other shards, basically the base shards. Place them like so. And now you're going to need some of the echo blocks and clusters. Like so. Gonna place them on top here. These are echo blocks, by the way. And then you're gonna get some reinforced bandite block here, which this is how you craft the luminant. From before, you show how you get this and this. Place in the middle, like so. And they will activate at some point. It might take a while. It's kind of random when they do it. A little bit concerned here. This worked before. Oh, that's why it's not working. Oh, there we go. Look at that. So now you get the Van. You gotta let it grow. You have to be fully grown, then you can get the cluster. So you got the budding null here and everything. You can let it sit here. It grows faster in the Nether, and I think it only grows in the end. I don't remember actually. So this is how you get this. I don't like when it does this. There we go. And you get dark essence. So you're gonna mine this, and you get dark essence in that, or silk touch it and bring it to the overworld for other things. Use fortune to get you a lot more too. So definitely use fortune on this. Again, silk tentacles grow a lot faster in the end. So let's go down here now. I wanted to show you again how you get Calgonite ingots. So you need to find the Calgonite ore. You can get this. You're gonna craft it. Use it to craft this blend. You need a bunch of other stuff the mod just showed you. Get a null shard, dark essence, all that stuff. And you also then you're gonna grab this. You're gonna smelt it. Then you need to do this. Combine it with some Xanthium dust. You get the explosive version. And now the explosive version, what you can do, go down to another little platform like this, I suggest, to make you suffer, and you're going to do this. You got to kind of catch it, though, you got to be careful. See, so you got to get angled just right so you can catch it. And then you can get the ingot like so. Strange way of doing it, but I think it's cool. So that's how you get that. Next is how you enchain Hearts of the End. Hearts of the End here are drops by either the Ender Brute or the Ender Ray as a rare drop. The 1.5 would drop this, and this will be always dropped by a boss. I'm going to add. This is going to be dropped instead, and you can just use this to craft one. So that's how you get Hearts of the End. I should also mention in the end, you need to be really careful. These guys are void entities, and they will mess you up. These are very powerful creatures. They have no knockback. They don't fly, at least not these ones. And in the end, if you are not prepared, they will basically, I think, 2 or 3 shot you in diamond armor. So you must, I would be very careful. The company would be very prepared in the end. Again, I love the goal of the mods, really expand all the 3 dimensions and everything, and making it more difficult and interesting to explore and challenging for experienced players and such. So be careful with that. I don't know what that's about down there. That's a little weird. That's a rally distorter. I don't know why they're. That's a little weird. I don't know what's going on there, but. So next is I want to talk about in the end. There's not a lot of stuff in the end yet. I'm going to add more. So first of all, the Echo Shards are found on only these islands. They're called Destitute Islands. They normally do not generate this close to the end island. They generate 1k out in the end, in one of the directions. So you can also find infused vant blocks here, but it won't be these versions. It'll be the impure version, which only drops over, I think, one dark essence if you break it. And you can also find the echo clusters here. This place is very dangerous, so you gotta be careful of the reality distorters. Those are basically a buffed up version of these guys, void entities. And that's how you obtain that stuff. Again, more stuff will be in the end of it in a future version, but right now I just don't feel like adding them. Yeah, we'll get to. Oh, I got whole stuff planned in the end. Just haven't done it yet. It's been taking a lot of stuff. Other stuff been fixing, ancient state and everything. Haven't got around to it. So where is the portal? There it is. So that is kind of an overview of the mod here. Kind of talking about some of the harder things to get, what exactly to do in the mod and everything. So I guess the final note here I'm going to do is kind of just talking about future goals of the mod and what else and suggestions. I basically plan to make it's kind of like a lot of inspiration for the mods in the first Netherlicious, and later on, some of the harder kind of those mods that you have branching timelines and such of the game, like Better Than Adventure and stuff like that, Better Than Wolves. Those different timelines, Frontier, what's it called? New Frontier, covers different timelines. I kind of go in that direction, I think, of the mod. I'm just kind of expanding upon the game a lot in different ways. I found 1.7 to be a good base to work off of, and this is why I play on this version. I think 1.7 is the last version that Notch kind of really had any kind of input in that was good. That was really a really good version. I think 1.8 has like half good, half bad. I don't really care for the stones they added. It's bloat in the when you're mining. Sure, I'm hypocritical because I add these guys, but these guys actually kind of have different stuff going on with them and all that kind of thing. There's lore and stuff in the mod, but I don't really want to go into detail on that. Yeah, I just found that 1.7 last version that really felt like the old kind of Minecraft to me. I know people think that 1.8 beta was the version that broke it, but for me it was more 1.9, but 1.8 had some issues with it. Again, I didn't like the stones. I didn't like the enchantment set. The enchantment system I think really made the game too easy. I like the little mobs they added. The Endermite I wasn't really a fan of really, but I think a lot of the other stuff in 1.8 was good. Okay, didn't mind it. So basically, my goal of the mod here is just to go a different direction, kind of. Just take the game and change things up, make it more interesting, again, for experienced players. Add features that make the game more challenging. I was thinking about adding an ore to each of the realms, like Overworld, Nether, and End. That's just extremely rare and almost impossible to find by normal methods. I was thinking of adding some kind of like staff or something that helps you find it later on in the mod. But I know people don't like bloat in the mod and ores. It's just something cool to find. I don't know what you guys think about that, but just tell me in the comments what you think. So far that's just the mod so far and everything. There's a lot more content I did not go over, but I really discuss. I want you guys to experience it for yourself and see what you think. If you have any suggestions or changes to the mod, go ahead and tell in the comments. Eventually, I do have plans to make the final boss mod. It's simply called a mob called the Entity. So eventually, to beat the prisoners, there'll be other stuff to do. Once you activate hard mode, you're gonna eventually be able to summon the entity. I'm not sure if it's be the boss after the prisoner or something a couple steps after, but yeah. So that's basically NovaCraft right now. I hope you guys enjoyed the commentary and what some of the stuff does about clarification. Like talk about in the comments what you guys think, what needs to be improved upon the mod, what goals, kind of what direction you think I should go in. Additions are also cool to add. I do like looking at some stuff from dead ancient mods, like mods that have been abandonware basically, for ideas and inspiration that you guys like. So yeah, this is going to be the end of the video here. Thanks for watching. Um, Farewell.